Hello and welcome to Break It Up. I'm Madhavdas Gopalakrishnan. At a time when there's been so much of controversy surrounding the Nobel Peace Prize this year from President Trump, who actually spoke about how he deserved the Nobel Prize, to reasons why he would not get it, to the dramatic announcement of María Corina Machado as the one who actually won this particular prize. We have a very special guest joining us. Joining us at the moment is Kristian Berg Harpviken, who's the director of the Norwegian Nobel Institute. Thank you so much for speaking to Times Now, Mr. Harpviken. Now, you are the one who informed María Corina Machado about winning the Nobel over the phone. The moment with you getting choked up, and her response full of surprise and disbelief has in fact gone viral. Can you tell us about that moment? What made it so emotional for you?
You know, I am new in this job. I started in the job on the 1st of January, and I have to admit I was a little surprised myself by how emotional it was. But I think it was emotional for several reasons. First of all, it is a life-changing message to deliver to another human being. Her life will change, the support for what she's fighting for will change. And of course, the other thing that really makes it a very strong moment is speaking to a human being who has sacrificed so much, who is living in hiding, and who is willing to continue to sacrifice for a cause that she firmly believes in.
Now, why did the Norwegian Nobel Committee settle on María Corina Machado as this year's laureate? What tipped the scales in her favor?
As the chair of the committee said when he announced the award of this year's Nobel Peace Prize, she's awarded the prize for her decades-long struggle for democracy in Venezuela. She has been remarkable in that she has been able to bring together the Venezuelan opposition across quite deep political divides. So while she herself has a very firm political conviction, she has at the same time been able to stand for the principles of democracy and cooperate closely with people whose political opinions are very different from her own in order to bring about a peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy in Venezuela.
Now, did the committee also consider US's political sensitivities before announcing Machado's name?
You know, the committee decision-making process is virtually a year-long seminar where we have very solid input from the best international experts available, and where we evaluate a number of candidates against each other. That process is not a process where we take pragmatic political considerations. We have to find the candidate who the most merits the prize in that particular year. That, of course, doesn't mean that we haven't been aware of the various campaigns for the Peace Prize this year. There are always a number of campaigns. There certainly has been quite forceful ones this year, but the decision-making process itself is virtually insulated from any such campaigning.
And what do you make of her dedication of the prize to US President Donald Trump?
I'm not sure it's up to me to comment on that. I have seen Machado's messages. I think the way that those have been reported in the press are, if I understand her correctly, quite misleading. But of course, she is very well aware that US support for her cause is important, and she needs to maneuver within the political space that she's operating in.
Now, US President Donald Trump has publicly claimed that the Nobel should have gone to him. Does such rhetoric undermine the prize's credibility in your view?
You know, we noticed that there is a lot of interest in the Nobel Peace Prize. We do not ever comment on who it is that did not get the prize in a particular year. That is contrary to our rules. The notes from decision-making process, the The reviews of individual candidates and the shortlists will be under lock and barrel for 50 years. Those are the rules of the whole Nobel system, all of the Nobel Prizes. So this is not something that we can possibly comment on.
How does the committee interpret a sitting US president asserting ownership of the Peace Prize?
Well, again, I cannot comment on who it is that did not gain the prize. I've already told you about how it is that we see campaigns. Of course, we follow the news media just like anybody else. We are aware of the campaigns. There's no surprise to us in that. The Nobel Peace Prize is coveted by many, and every year we see a number of campaigns. So that's something that we are used to deal with, and we have good procedures for making sure that our decision-making process goes ahead as it should, regardless of what sort of campaigning there is.
Now, you have many voices in the United States, for instance, asking why not Trump? So the question that then arises is, was he ever seriously discussed? Did Trump's loud public campaign for the prize ever penetrate the committee discussions?
Well, I'm sorry, my friend. You keep asking me about a specific candidate. I've already told you that I cannot possibly comment on who it is that did not get the prize. So I don't want to waste your time with asking that question again, because it's not a question I can answer.
Now, there are critics who say that Barack Obama received his Nobel with little concrete achievement at that time. Isn't there merit in that argument that Obama perhaps received the prize long before he could prove that he was deserving of it? Wasn't it virtue signaling then?
You know, the prize to Barack Obama, just like any other prizes, was justified in the announcement that was made at the time. Anybody can read that justification, and of course, anybody can criticize this as well as they want. It's not my job to add more to that announcement. The reasoning as to why it was that any given candidate is awarded the prize, becomes a winner of the Nobel Peace Prize in any given year, is given in the announcement. So do read that and feel free to criticize.
How does the committee balance merit with symbolic impact in choosing a laureate? After all, Machado is also the opposition leader of Venezuela and hence politically driven.
No, I don't think symbolism is the main thing for the committee. I don't think that really figures much in the discussions. But what is important is, of course, to find one or several outstanding candidates who really have contributed uniquely to peace in one way or another, in sync with what is laid out in Alfred Nobel's will, which was written back in 1895. But of course, the committee is also preoccupied with what time it is that we're living in, and wants to try to capture the spirit of the time, and very often give its encouragement to processes that it sees as promising in responding to problems that may not only be local, but may also be regional or even global.
Now, the committee insists it's immune to political pressure and bases its decision only on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel. But with President Trump waging a high-profile campaign and the White House openly accusing the committee of quote-unquote placing politics over peace, how does the panel expect the public to see its decision as free from US political influence?
You know, we cannot prevent people from making claims or for even blaming the committee for making the wrong decision. What we can do is to let the world know exactly how it is that we work. I am very confident about the integrity of our process, about the way that we reach decisions. As I said earlier, I'm new in the job, and I have to admit I've been quite impressed by the whole decision-making process, by the way in which members of the committee test out their opinions, argue quite fiercely, but also eventually start to zoom in on a decision which they can all stand behind. This doesn't need to be a consensus decision, but in most years it is a consensus decision, and that is always what the committee strives for. So I have great faith in the process, and as I said, I've been quite impressed to see both the work and the commitment and the wisdom that the committee members invest in this.